dear students, today we are going to start our social studies class with chapter number 5, the Mughal Empire's remaining part, the Mughal administration. Dear students, in last class we already discussed about Mughal Empire's ruler like Akbar, Babur, Humayun, Aurangzeb, Jahangir, Shahjahan, all that type of ruler and their policies and their point of weakness of their empire, how their empire is going to be become, that type of thing discussed by us in last class. In this class we will talk about administration of the Mughal empire, which type of administration was there on that time and which type of things taken by them, like which type of policy, agrarian policy, and all that thing we will discuss in this class. Let's begin our class with the topic number first, the Mughal administration. The emperor was the head of the administration. We know that already we study about that. Emperor was the head of the administration. The Mughal court was very ceremonial. The emperor sat on a throne. Others were assigned places to sit or stand. The more important ones being nearer to the emperor. During the reign of Akbar, along with Sizda and Pervaz, Kunnis and Taslim were also performed. All that type of we can say that that type of Sizda and Pervaz also they have to perform in front of Akbar. Because of that he mentioned that type of policies on that time, and because of these policies people start to hate him, because both these type like Sizda and Pervaz were used for God only and he used for himself. Everyday reports from nobles and department heads were read out to the rulers at a particular assigned time. This meeting was held in Diwan-e-Khas. Diwan-e-Khas means we can say that such a type of hall whichever made for only private persons. If Raja or king want to meet with personal people or private people or want to meet privately, then he was sitting in that type of Diwan-e-Khas hall. For the hall of private audience also we can say that it's mentioned in bracket. The emperor held their court for the general public. If general public's court was there, then we can say that Diwan-e-Aam hall of public audience will be there. People could come here and put forth their problems before the ruler. When the emperor was away from his capital, his court moved with him. Means when emperor was not there, then his court was also not there. With him many type of soldiers, many type of courtiers also there, and they helped to king for taking decision. During these times the court was held under huge tents, and on that time that type of court was held under huge tents. In the 17th century the court was divided into two groups. If we talk about 17th century, then we can say that on that time court was divided into two groups, the liberals and the orthodox. Since Jahangir and Shahjahan were tolerant rulers, the liberal group was dominant in religious matter, but under Aurangzeb, the orthodox group had the upper hand. Because we already studied about Aurangzeb, he was an orthodox person. The structural administration, if we talk about Mughal Empire's structural administration, then we can say that it was a centralized monarchy and the ruler enjoyed absolute power. Apart from central administration, there were provincial administration, revenue administration and army administration. If we talk about structural administration, many type of administration was there, like provincial, revenue and army. At first we will talk about central administration. The king was the head of both civil and military administration. Who was head? King was only head of the both civil and military administration. He was assisted by many officials. Like the Wazir was the prime minister. Wazir was prime minister. Diwan was the head of the revenue department. Mir Bakshi looked after the military. Like now we can say that many type of ministers are there, like defense minister, home minister, agriculture minister, education minister. On that time that type of post was there. Prime minister was known as Wazir, revenue minister was known as Diwan, military minister was known as we can say defense minister as Mir Bakshi. That type of post was there, and whoever needs of royal household, Diwan-e-Saman. Sadar-e-Sidur was grants to donation of the king and that type of records kept by him, and Qazi was the chief judge, like we can say that Supreme Court's judge. It's about central administration. Now we will talk about provincial administration. The empire was divided into provinces called subas Each Suba was headed by a governor called Subedar. He served as a link between his province and the ruler. Each Suba was divided into sarkars or districts and each sarkar into many parganas. A pargana consisted of many villages. Like now, country, state, village, town and villages, that type of things there. According to that, in ancient time also that type of provincial administration was there. The Kotwal looked after town administration. Who was look after town administration? Kotwal. He performed both police and civil duties, both duties made by him only. He caught criminals and maintained law and order. He had to maintain a list of people living in his area and keep a check on weight and measure. His office was called the Kotwali. Now also, at this time also many type of police station known as the Kotwali because that type of name was start to used in Mughal provincial administration. And his office was called Kotwali, a term that is in use even today. After that, revenue administration. If we talk about revenue administration, then we can say that like now working as we can say that Patwari and revenue inspector, many type of officers were there in revenue department. The main sources of revenue were land and trade. You have already studied that Akbar had made money reforms in land revenue system. We know that many type of land tax was there according to dog reason and according to fertility of soil. Many type of tax was made by them. Raja Todermal, his revenue minister, introduced a land revenue system which can to be known as Todermal's bandobast. And in English we can say that bandobast is known as the bandobast in Hindi. Under the new system, land was properly measured. Under the new system, the land was properly measured. Before it, that was not properly measured. Whatever farmer is giving, they are taking and directly they submit to king only. But in this system, the land was properly measured. In the past, it's used to be measured with a rock. Means with a rock they measure. And however, the rock shrunk when it was dry and staged when it was wet. Hence, the measurement used to change. Todermal introduced a new measuring device. It was rod made of bamboo, rings joining together by iron rings. Now also iron rings was is used by Padwari whenever they came to measuring the land. Now land could be measured very accurately. Land was divided into three categories, namely good, average and bad. Three categories, three criteria was there. According to that, they have to give land tax. The revenue was fixed according to fertility of the land. If anyone asks you how the land tax was decided, then according to fertility, not according to their size, according to their fertility. After that, they decide the size, what's the size of land, they decide tax. In 1580, a system called the Dahsla was introduced. Under this, the average produce and the average price over the last 10 means the years were calculated. The tax to be paid for the years was fixed on the basis of this average. Generally, 1/3 of this figure was the share of the ruler. 1/3 of your production share you have to submit to ruler. The emperors increased both internal and overseas trade. India exported textile, spices, indigo and saltpeter to China, Central Asia and Europe. Dear students, it's about revenue system, how they decide the land tax, how they measure land, all that thing we studied in this. And now we will talk about army administration. Dear students, the Mughal introduced the Mansabdari system. The term Mansab means rank or position. The Mansabdar was the person who held a particular rank. His rank determined his salary and his military responsibility. According to his rank, according to his view, you have to give that type of salary and responsibilities also. According to rank, if you are in high rank, then you will get paid with good salary, and responsibility maybe you have more. A Mansabdar's rank was divided into two, Jat and Sawar. The former determined the number of soldiers under him, and the latter the number of horses he was expected to maintain. The Jat rank ranged from 10 to 10,000. Generally, those above 5,000 were given only to princes. The salary of a Mansabdar was fixed in cash. However, it was paid by assigning him a jagir, the taxes from which would be equal to his salary. According to his salary, he had to collect that type of the taxes. He was expected to collect the revenue from his jagir. With this money collected maintained his household and pay his troops. Mansabdar were promoted, demoted or transferred according to the wishes of the emperor. According to emperor, they will be behaved. His rank was also not hereditary. When a Mansabdar died, his Jagir was taken away and given to someone else. Not its hereditary after his death, it's not given to his son or daughter. Agrarian policy, we can say that important policy of Mughal Empire. The Mughal needed a huge amount of money to meet the expenses of salary. Most part of his money come from, we can say that revenue from agriculture. All the rulers tried to increase the productivity of the land. Loans were given to peasants to buy agriculture tools, better seeds, etc. because they know that if they gave a loan to them and if production will be improved, then surely it will be benefit to them also. And the rulers also encouraged peasants to bring more land and under cultivation by exempting from the paying taxes on such lands for a few years. Most peasants lived at subsistence level. They paid 1/3 of the total production as the revenue to the emperor. This gradually increased to 1/2 in times of natural calamities. However, the revenue was either reduced or sometimes totally written off by the emperor according to condition they will trade. The peasants had a hereditary right to cultivate their land. They could not have evicted as long as they paid the revenue. However, increasing demands for revenue gradually resulted in many peasants becoming landless. With the time, Mughal rulers started to demanding more tax from their peasants' land, and it was not possible on that time for the farmer's son or farmer. Because of that type of policies being, and they began to work on the land of the zamindar for wages. This produced alarming consequences in later years. Dear students, it was the chapter about the Mughal emperor. We can say that about the Mughal empire, we can say that from 1526 to 1707. And this time many type of rulers came to India and ruled, and they expand their empire in all over the India, and they ruled here, make many type of policies, make many type of administration. All that thing we already discussed in this complete whole chapter. And I hope you understand this whole chapter. If you have any type of doubt in all these classes, then you can surely ask to me through Google Meet class. Thank you so much.